Hello, welcome. This is the market wrap. The fourth day straight day of gains coming through for the benchmark indices, and while the indices are advancing, we've also seen some strength coming in the broader markets too. Let's take a look at some of these key gainers. We have Eicher Motors up 5.5%, IndusInd Bank, Z Entertainment, State Bank of India, and Bajaj Finance. What a swift move for Bajaj Finance, and Bajaj Finance and State Bank of India competing for that market capitalization race, which stands at around 2.8 lakhs odd. But moving on, when it comes to losers, we have weakness in Tata Motors. Do remember, it was a very strong day of trade yesterday, so there's a possible bout of profit taking, as is the case for Titan. ITC and Infosys continue to be under pressure, but let's take a look at the broader markets. We have three gainers with two losers. Indiabulls Housing Finance along with V-Mart Retail advancing. GM Financial also looking at a sharp up move around 10%. Sri Renuka Sugars, Indiabull Ventures, all of them advancing. But on the losing end, we have usual suspects like Gayatri Projects, and otherwise, well, some of the diagnostic companies are under pressure. Dr. Lal Pathlabs and Metropolis Healthcare also down, along with profit-taking in Affle India and Westlife Development and Jubilant Foodworks as well. So some very quality names out there which are buzzing. But let's get in our market senator Neeraj Shah for his thoughts. Neeraj, yesterday we reclaimed 12,000 and today is 12,100.
Well, and in all, actually full credit to the policy, because it was post-policy that we started moving up. The markets were anyways waiting a bit for the policy statement to come out, and even though maybe there was expectation that nothing much will come in, I think there were some announcements beyond the headline rates which were important.
Right.
By the way, shameless plug, do log on to our website and try and read a lot of things that we've put out. Ida would have written a piece, maybe would have some other banking team putting out some other pieces as well, or the fine print of the policy. But I'm sure you will discuss later on how some of the NBFCs went up, while real estate didn't do too much at the end of it, a bit of a bout of an uptick as well, and yields came off. So not a bad stance. The RBI coming out and saying that we are there if need be. So all of that probably helped the sentiment of the market, and which is why the Bank Nifty, led by the Bank Nifty, we closed up nearly 1% for the Bank Nifty, and that is what's led to the uptick in the mother market as well, which is the Nifty and the Sensex. The numbers or the volumes were very high today. Cash market volumes of 45,000 crores. We expect F&O volumes to be high, but cash market volumes are very high, and therefore very interesting to see whether there was some genuine buying into some of these stocks or no otherwise. So interesting day of trade, and maybe the analysis of how the trade has shaped up might give us some hints into what could happen in the near term, Agam. So pretty decent outing today.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for that, Neeraj. So, well, certainly, things turning positive based on the banking index. But, well, we have the pharma space, which is in focus on the back of earnings. I'm going to get in Darshan Mehta to talk to us about a bunch of them. Darshan?
Yeah, so Sun and Lupin just came out with numbers one after the other. So let me start with Sun. Sun numbers were in line with estimates. I think there was a little bit of EBITDA pressure given the fact that material cost has gone up, and on the profit side, taxation was higher and the other income was lower. But overall, if you see the internals, I was not disappointed with what Sun Pharma put out, because they've done close to a 13% growth in the India market, which is good compared to the estimate of 11%. The US market also did much better. The only disappointment was that that the rest of the world market, which was expected to come in much higher, that didn't come out. But I think it was in inline numbers. But I think the internals, the market will like the fact that they've grown in India and they've shown decent US performance despite a weak performance in Taro. Now Lupin, it's a different story. It's a very, very weak set of numbers. Obviously, there was this adjustment that happened. That's why they came out with a loss. But overall, there is a revenue decline that is seen. Margins coming in close to almost 12% here. So overall, if you take the internals also, there is a weak India number. It's single-digit number that's come in as far as even the US is concerned. The number is not good. So Lupin overall, I think it will be important to see what the management says. But overall, they have been struggling for a while, and the numbers actually justify that they are actually facing a lot of problems.
Sure, fair enough, Darshan. Thanks for getting us those updates. So there you have it. That's as far as pharma is concerned. But the auto sector is also in focus. And let me get in Forum Bhatt to tell us a little more about the updates there. Forum, what do you have for us?
Yeah, so well, Eicher came up with numbers during the market hours. So the numbers were largely in line. Basically, revenue was up 1% at about 2,371 crore. Net profit was down 6% and EBITDA was down by 13%. Margins stood at 25% versus 29% a year ago. Now, realizations went up significantly for the company this time around. The realization stood at about 1,21,477 per unit. Corporate tax rate declined significantly at about 23% versus 32% a year ago. Now, The company also had a conference call post the earnings, and here's what management had to say. On the Royal Enfield business, the company states that exports are doing extremely well. The 650 twin motorcycles were very well received by the market. They say the market share also improved significantly to 32% as against 26%. And Bullet in the BS6 variant is something which will be launched this month, according to the management. Now, on the VECV front, the management states that the CV industry has been extremely weak on account of slowdown and cyclicality. However, they see some pickup happening on this front on account of pre-buying due to the BS6 transition. So we could see some growth on that front going forward, Adam.
Okay, well, thanks for getting us that view on Eicher Motors. But there's plenty more to keep an eye on, specifically with respect to earnings. And now that the RBI monetary policy is out of the way, well, the earnings specifically from the mid-cap space is what we're going to watch out for. But on that note, it's a wrap on the markets, but there's lots more lineups. Stay tuned to BloombergQuint.